Drake is finished, and this time, there's no coming back from what just happened. Right now, as you're watching this, Drake is sitting somewhere scrolling through his phone, watching his entire legacy crumble in real time. And the person who just delivered the final blow? A$AP Rocky. But here's what nobody's talking about. Drake saw this coming from miles away, and he still couldn't stop it. If you enjoy powerful and mind-blowing videos like this that expose the truth behind hip-hop's biggest moments, make sure to subscribe to StarsTube. You don't want to miss what's coming next. Let me paint you a picture. January 16th, 2026. A$AP Rocky drops his long-awaited album. Within hours, the internet explodes, not because of the music alone, but because Rocky just unleashed the most devastating, soul-crushing disses against Drake that we've heard since Kendrick Lamar destroyed him back in 2024. And the craziest part? Drake's response to all of this is so pathetic, so embarrassingly weak, that even his most die-hard fans are starting to question everything. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. First, you need to understand exactly what Rocky did and why it's so much worse than you think. Rocky's track Stole Your Flow isn't just a diss track. It's a psychological warfare masterpiece designed to remind Drake of his biggest failure, his deepest regret, the one thing that haunts him every single day: losing Rihanna. And Rocky didn't just mention it casually, he weaponized it. From the very first second of that hook, you can feel the malice, the confidence, the absolute certainty that Rocky has already won. He's not just rapping, he's celebrating his victory while Drake watches helplessly. And when you hear the lines calling Drake sensitive, in his feelings, talking about how Drake fumbled the greatest woman in the world, but this is where things get absolutely insane. Rihanna herself jumped into the comments. She didn't defend Drake. She didn't stay silent. She endorsed Rocky's disses. She laughed at Drake publicly. Think about that for a second. The woman Drake has been obsessed with for over a decade, the woman he's written countless songs about, the woman he probably still dreams about, she's now publicly mocking him alongside her man. That's not just a loss, that's a complete and total annihilation of Drake's ego. Now, some of you might be thinking, okay, Rocky dissed him, Rihanna laughed, big deal. Drake will come back with fire like he always does. But that's where you're wrong, because what Drake did next proves that he's completely broken. Let me show you. On the exact same night Rocky's album dropped, while the entire hip-hop world was buzzing about Rocky's bars, while Stole Your Flow was trending worldwide, while everyone was waiting to see how Drake would respond, Drake posted a video. Not a diss track, not even a subliminal shot, a video of an old Majid Jordan song from 2013. Hold On, We're Going Home, a song from over 12 years ago, a song that A$AP Rocky literally appeared in the music video for. Do you see what's happening here? Drake is so mentally shattered, so desperate to escape his current reality, that he's retreating into the past. He's scrolling through memories when he was actually relevant, when he was actually respected, when people actually wanted to hear from him. And he's doing it publicly for everyone to see. This isn't strategy. This isn't some calculated move. This is a man in crisis. This is someone who's been beaten down so badly by Kendrick, by public opinion, by his own mistakes, that when another massive threat emerges, he doesn't even have the energy to fight back anymore. And the most shocking part is still coming, because Rocky didn't just stop at Stole Your Flow. Oh no, across the entire album, Rocky planted strategic missiles aimed directly at Drake's heart. On No Trespassing, Rocky raps, "I might move to Texas, ride around, and if you trespass, I'ma shut him down." Now, if you're not paying attention, that sounds like a random flex. But here's the thing. Drake literally moved to Texas. He became a resident there. Rocky is essentially saying, I can take over your new home just like I took everything else from you. That's not just confidence, that's domination. Rocky is walking through Drake's life like he owns it, picking up whatever he wants, and Drake can't do anything about it. And the reason Rocky can do this, the reason he has this power, comes down to one undeniable fact. Rocky has Rihanna. Drake doesn't. Rocky has the family, the respect, the woman every man on earth would want to be with. And Drake? Drake has Instagram stories about the good old days. Let me ask you something. Have you ever seen someone so defeated that they stop fighting entirely? That's what we're witnessing right now. Drake spent years building a reputation as the guy who always claps back, the guy who never lets a diss slide, the guy who stays on social media talking trash at all hours. Real quick, if you're loving this breakdown and want to stay updated on every major moment in hip-hop, hit that subscribe button for StarsTube right now. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. But now, silence. When Kendrick dropped Not Like Us, Drake tried to fire back with The Heart Part 6 and got humiliated even worse. He learned his lesson. Or maybe he just broke, because when Rocky dropped his album, when Rocky came with actual ammunition, Drake didn't even attempt a response. He just posted nostalgia content, like a has-been musician trying to remind people he used to matter. And the hip-hop community noticed. Everyone noticed. The same Drake who was arrogant, loud, obnoxious, always in your face, is now hiding behind memories. But here's what makes this even more devastating. Rocky announced this album release date over a month ago. Drake had weeks to prepare. He could have dropped a surprise track the same night. He could have released a verse destroying Rocky. He could have done literally anything to steal the moment. But he didn't. Why? Because he's scared. Because he knows he can't compete, because every time he tries to fight back lately, he loses even harder. Drake has become a defeated man, playing defense for the rest of his career. And this is where the story gets even darker for Drake. Think about what Rocky risked by dissing Drake now. He could have dropped this album, had his moment, and avoided all the drama, but instead, Rocky made a conscious choice to go at Drake's throat. Why? Because Rocky knows something we all know. Drake is vulnerable right now, weaker than he's ever been. This isn't 2015 Drake who was on top of the world. This isn't even 2023 Drake who still had some fight left. This is 2026 Drake, fresh off the worst year of his career, still recovering from being publicly destroyed by Kendrick Lamar, still trying to figure out how to rebuild his image. And Rocky saw the perfect opportunity to kick him while he's down. Not out of nowhere, mind you. Let's not forget, Drake started this. Drake was throwing shots at Rocky and Rihanna all over For All the Dogs back in 2023. Drake took subliminal shots on Scary Hours 3. Drake wanted smoke, and now that Rocky is giving it to him straight, no subliminals, just pure, unfiltered disrespect, Drake doesn't want any part of it. He's running, he's hiding, he's pretending like posting a 2013 music video is somehow a power move. But nobody's buying it. The fans aren't buying it. The industry isn't buying it. And most importantly, Rihanna definitely isn't buying it. She's over there laughing with her man, watching Drake squirm, probably thinking about all the times Drake tried to manipulate his way into her life. You know what the saddest part is? Drake probably thought he'd end up with Rihanna someday. He probably believed that eventually, somehow, things would work out, that Rocky was just temporary, that Rihanna would realize Drake was the one all along. But then Rocky and Rihanna had kids. They built a family. They created something real and permanent. And Drake? Drake wrote songs about her like a lovesick teenager while she moved on and never looked back. That's what Stole Your Flow really represents. It's not just a diss track, it's a reality check. It's Rocky holding up a mirror to Drake and forcing him to look at everything he lost, everything he'll never have, everything he destroyed through his own actions. And the brutal part? Rocky isn't even angry. He's not emotional. He's celebrating. He's bragging on Drake with the ultimate prize, and Drake can't do anything except scroll through old Instagram posts. Now, let's talk about the numbers for a second, because this tells an even bigger story. Stole Your Flow is already shaping up to be one of the biggest hits from Rocky's album. It's going viral. It's being played everywhere. People are making memes, reaction videos, breakdowns. Meanwhile, what's Drake doing? His last few releases have been underwhelming at best. His reputation is damaged, his credibility is shot, and now he's getting bodied by Rocky while Kendrick's victory lap continues in the background.
This is what a fall from grace looks like in real time. This is what happens when you build your career on being petty, on being a troll, on being obnoxious, and then suddenly you can't back it up anymore. The whole house of cards collapses. And Rocky knows this. That's why he's going so hard. That's why he's not holding back, because he understands that Drake is at his weakest point, and there's no better time to strike than when your opponent is already on the ground. But wait, there's more to this story that'll blow your mind. Remember how I said Drake posted that Majid Jordan video? Well, some people think Drake was trying to send a subliminal message to Rocky and Rihanna, like there's some hidden meaning in that specific song, some secret code only they would understand. But you know what? Even if that's true, even if Drake thinks he's being clever with his cryptic social media posts, it doesn't matter because while Drake's playing mind games on Instagram, Rocky's out here making actual music, getting actual wins, living an actual life with the woman Drake wishes he had. That's the difference between winning and losing in 2026. Drake's stuck in the past, living in his head, trying to send secret messages through decade-old songs. Rocky's in the present, dominating the charts, raising his family, and embarrassing his rivals on wax. And the hip-hop community is eating this up because let's be honest, after everything Drake has done, after all the arrogance, after all the questionable behavior, after all the times he tried to bully people with his fame and success, seeing him get humbled like this feels like karma. It feels like justice. It feels like the universe correcting itself. And Rocky's just the messenger delivering the bad news. But here's where things get really interesting for the future. What can Drake even do at this point? If he responds with a diss track, he risks getting destroyed again. We saw what happened with Kendrick. We saw how The Heart Part 6 backfired spectacularly. If Drake stays silent, he looks weak. He looks defeated. He confirms everything Rocky just said about him. But if he tries to play it cool, if he tries to act like none of this bothers him, well, we already see through that facade based on his social media behavior. Drake's trapped. There's no winning move here. Every option leads to more embarrassment. And that's exactly how Rocky designed this. He didn't just diss Drake, he cornered him. He put Drake in a position where no matter what he does, Rocky wins. That's strategic genius. That's not just bars and punchlines. That's chess while everyone else is playing checkers. And Drake's not even at the table anymore. He's watching from the sidelines, wishing he could go back to 2013 when things were simple. Now, I want you to think about something even deeper. What does this mean for Drake's legacy? Because we're watching it get rewritten in real time. Drake was supposed to be this generation's defining rapper, the guy who dominated for over a decade, the guy who everyone had to acknowledge. But now he's the guy who got destroyed by Kendrick Lamar, the guy who lost Rihanna to A$AP Rocky, the guy who can't even respond to disses anymore because he's too scared of making things worse. That's not a legacy, that's a cautionary tale. And the worst part for Drake, this is only the beginning of 2026. We're barely 2 weeks into the year, and he's already taking massive losses. Rocky just set the tone for what's going to be a brutal 12 months for Drake. Because now everyone sees the blueprint. Everyone sees that Drake's vulnerable. Everyone sees that he won't fight back. So who else is going to take shots? Who else is going to pile on while Drake's down? The floodgates are open, and Drake opened them himself by being too weak to defend himself when it mattered most. Let's talk about the cultural impact of what's happening right now. Hip-hop has always been about respect, about defending your name, about never letting someone disrespect you without consequences. And Drake built his entire career understanding that. He used to go at people constantly, but now when he's the one getting dissed, when he's the one under attack, he can't live up to his own standards. And the culture notices, the culture remembers, and the culture doesn't forgive weakness. Rocky's not just beating Drake in this moment, he's exposing him. He's showing the world that Drake was never as tough as he pretended to be, that all the bravado, all the trash talk, all the arrogance was just a mask. And now that the mask is off, we see the real Drake, insecure, broken, desperate, clinging to past glories because the present is too painful to confront. And Rihanna laughing at him publicly, that's the ultimate humiliation because it's not even about the music anymore. It's personal. It's about Drake losing the one thing he wanted most in life and having to watch another man win what he couldn't. That's a level of psychological damage that no amount of streams or sales can fix. That's the kind of loss that haunts you forever. And Rocky knows this. That's why he's smiling. That's why he's so confident, because he has everything Drake wants, and Drake will never, ever be able to take it from him. Now, here's what's going to happen next. Rocky is going to continue his album rollout. He's going to dominate the conversation. He's going to get praised for his music and for putting Drake in his place. Meanwhile, Drake's going to spiral deeper into whatever crisis he's going through. Maybe he'll eventually respond. Maybe he'll drop something weak and desperate. Or maybe he'll just stay silent and hope people forget. But they won't forget. The internet never forgets. And every time Drake tries to come back, every time he releases new music, every time he tries to reclaim his position, people will remember this moment. They'll remember how Rocky made him look. They'll remember how Rihanna laughed at him. They'll remember that when it mattered most, when Drake needed to show strength, he showed weakness instead. This is the moment Drake's career split into before and after, and the after doesn't look good. Now, let me paint you one more picture before we wrap this up. Imagine being Drake right now. You're sitting in your mansion in Texas, you check your phone, Stole Your Flow is everywhere, Rihanna is laughing at you, your fans are trying to defend you but they sound desperate. You want to respond, you want to fire back, but you remember what happened with Kendrick. You remember how badly that went. So what do? You scroll through your camera roll until you find something from 2013, something that reminds you of better times, and you post it, hoping maybe it'll make you feel better, hoping maybe people will remember when you were great. But all it does is make you look more pathetic, more desperate, more finished. That's where Drake is at right now, and that's where he's going to stay unless something major changes. But what could change? What could possibly save him at this point? The answer? Nothing, because the damage is done. The perception is set. Drake is no longer the guy everyone fears. He's the guy everyone targets. He's the guy everyone knows won't fight back. And in hip-hop, once you get that reputation, it's over. There's no coming back from being seen as soft, especially when you spent years acting hard. Rocky didn't just diss Drake, he changed the entire power dynamic of modern hip-hop. He proved that Drake is touchable, beatable, finished, and everyone who's been waiting for their chance to take a shot at Drake, they're watching this closely. They're taking notes. They're preparing their own attacks because now they know Drake won't do anything about it. This is the beginning of the end, not because of one diss track, but because of what that diss track revealed. Drake has given up. If you made it this far, you understand just how massive this moment is for hip-hop. If you want to stay ahead of every major story, every shocking revelation, every game-changing moment in music, you absolutely need to subscribe to StarsTube right now. We're bringing you the truth that others won't tell you. So what happens now? Where does Drake go from here? Does he try one last desperate comeback attempt? Does he retire from rap and focus on his other ventures? Does he just fade into irrelevance? Whatever he chooses, one thing's certain. A$AP Rocky just secured his place in hip-hop history, not just as a great artist, not just as Rihanna's man, but as the guy who delivered the final blow to Drake's already crumbling empire. And Drake will be remembered as the guy who had it all and lost it all, the guy who got too arrogant, the guy who made too many enemies, the guy who couldn't back up his talk when it mattered most. Years from now, when people talk about the fall of Drake, they'll point to two moments, Not Like Us by Kendrick and Stole Your Flow by A$AP Rocky. Those are the songs that ended an era. And you know what the craziest part is? Drake did this to himself. He started beef with Kendrick. He dissed Rocky and Rihanna first. He created the situations that led to his own destruction. That's what makes this whole thing almost poetic. Drake spent so long playing with fire, and now he's finally gotten burned. And unlike all the times before, this time he can't put out the flames. So as we watch this unfold, as we witness hip-hop history being written in real time, remember this. Pride comes before the fall, and Drake's pride was his biggest weakness all along. Drake wanted to be the greatest. He wanted everyone's respect. He wanted Rihanna. He wanted to win every battle. But in the end, he lost everything. And A$AP Rocky, he's just getting started. The question now isn't whether Drake can recover. It's how much worse things are going to get. Because if you think this is bad, just wait until you see what happens next. Trust me, you haven't seen anything yet.